New reports are detailing how negotiators at a previous round of talks earlier this month may have been poisoned. The reports mention billionaire Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich, owner of the Chelsea soccer team, may have been a victim along with 2 Ukrainians. Abramovich had denied having close ties to Putin after being sanctioned by the UK government. James Longman has the latest on that.
This morning, Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich spotted at those peace talks in Istanbul, following reports he and 2 Ukrainian peacemakers may have been poisoned as they tried to help broker talks between Russia and Ukraine. The Wall Street Journal reporting Abramovich and peace negotiators suffered symptoms of suspected poisoning after a meeting in Kyiv earlier this month. Abramovich, the owner of the Chelsea soccer team, was sanctioned by the UK for what they called his close relationship with Vladimir Putin in the past, something he denies. But his link to Putin and the increasing pressure on a growing number of oligarchs raises questions about why he'd say he was targeted. Ukraine's chief negotiator, Mikhailo Podolyak, told ABC News that he wouldn't be drawn on the claim, calling it an information game, and that all members of the negotiation group are working as usual. Putin's dark reputation for assassinating opponents, perhaps a convenient context for a Russian oligarch looking for new allies.
Vladimir Putin has this deep sense of betrayal, and what we don't know, is it possible that Roman Abramovich has sort of undercut the Kremlin and therefore Putin wants to assassinate him and murder him?
The investigative media outlet Bellingcat reporting the alleged victims experienced symptoms consistent with poisoning with chemical weapons, including eye and skin inflammation and piercing pain in the eyes. The Wall Street Journal reporting they had peeling skin on their faces and hands. This temporary pain may have been intended as a warning. The Kremlin has denied poisoning multiple opponents in recent years, like Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who fell ill on a flight from Serbia to Moscow in 2020. Navalny is seen here being transported. He was attacked with the same Russian nerve agent used in the poisoning of former Russian double agent Sergei Skripal in 2018. Former Ukrainian President Viktor Yushchenko, also a victim of poisoning, leaving his face disfigured.
Using poisons, killing their opponents, is something that the Kremlin has done literally for decades and decades. And so this is the kind of thing that we could expect from the Kremlin, but it's just not clear to us yet why they would do it in this case.
And James is joining me live now from Kyiv, Ukraine. James, what implications could these poisoning reports have for the future of this war? If they're true, what message is Putin trying to send?
Well, Diane, I think you said it, if they're true, and I think that's the one thing that a lot of people here are wondering. I mean, the Ukrainians have been very reticent to talk about it. Is it because it maybe just didn't happen, or is it because the Ukrainians are worried about it derailing negotiations? I think, and on that point of Ukrainian negotiation tactics, it's interesting. I covered the Syrian civil war, and we went to Geneva a number of times to cover the negotiations ongoing there between the Russians and the West. And every time there were talks, and there were talks for years on how to get the Russians and Assad, of course, to back down. And every time we went, there'd be a talk of a breakthrough, as we've heard today, perhaps a minor breakthrough in Istanbul. And afterwards, Western leaders would come out, and you'd have the Americans and the Brits and the French to come out and say, well, look, it's very promising. The Russians have said X, Y, and Z. And then hours later, we'd hear of another assault on Aleppo or barrel bombs dropping on innocent civilians in Syria. And there'd be all this outrage in the West saying, well, hang on a minute, the Russians said one thing in negotiations and they've done a completely different thing. And there was this kind of level of, I can't believe the Russians would have done this. The Ukrainians are not doing that. Why? Because they understand the game. They understand Russia's tactics. They understand the game playing that goes on away from the negotiation table. They understand that they will have to send their negotiators to Istanbul or wherever else Russia agrees to meet. And the war here will continue. And as I talk to you now, we're hearing artillery being fired in the suburbs, anti-aircraft guns as well. And so the Ukrainians get this game. And I think perhaps these allegations of poisoning, the Ukrainians are very keen to make sure that doesn't derail the negotiations, because that's exactly what the Russians want to happen.
All right, James Longman in Kyiv for us. James, thank you. Stay safe.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.